Hello, this is Nick from Breaker Press Games, and this is the Breaker Bulletin for April 21st, 2023. Alright, so, a new month, let's talk about what's going on with Breaker Press Games. So, first and foremost, this weekend Alex is doing a final editing pass on Desperation of the Hungry. And so, yeah, we kickstarted that back in February with the intent of getting it done lightning quick to demonstrate that we are capable of doing that. And so, yeah, it's we're putting the finishing touches on it now. The only thing that we'll be waiting on is actually the stickers coming from Sticker Guy. So, in that spirit, surveys went out today for Desperation of the Hungry and Cleft in the Mangled Hills. So you should have received that in your, if you've backed either of those Kickstarters or both of those Kickstarters, you should have received those emails. Please fill out your surveys promptly and get those out so that I can, the Desperation of the Hungry PDFs should be ready to go sometime middle of next week is my guess. So, that being said, I also today requested that they Kickstarter re-release the backer information for the Protectorate of Genulane. Considering that project is so late, they actually froze the backer information and I can't access it. They do have a process that you have to go through in order to get that information re-released, and so I have started that process. So expect more updates on the Protectorate of Genulane very soon. Right now, working on my final big writing and layout push for Cleft in the Mangled Hills. I started on it earlier this week. I don't know if you remember from the last video, but at GaryCon, I ran Cleft in the Mangled Hills and decided that I needed to revert back to some things that were from the previous version after some tweaks that I made that I didn't like. And I just finished running it for my home group, and it was awesome. And so, having just finished it literally 2 weeks ago, I opened up the document and dove right in, and have been working on that diligently. So, we should expect to see Cleft in the Mangled Hills done, at least the big writing and layout push, in the next week or so. And then it'll go to Alex. Alex goes through an editing process, kicks it back to me. We do another pass over the entire thing just to make sure everything's good to go. And then Alex does another editing pass, and then it's ready to go to the printer. So all told, particularly if there's any additional art needs or what have you, expect that to be finished in the next 2 to 3 weeks, is my guess. So that's what's going on with Cleft in the Mangled Hills. As soon as Cleft in the Mangled Hills is done, Protectorate will be my main focus. I mentioned before, I'm very excited to get back to that. It's a very exciting project. It's just that it was so big, it required me to kind of push that to the side so that I could get some of this other stuff done. But, I'm very excited to get back to it. Now, what else is going on with Breaker Press Games? Well, Patreon, the number of our patrons has grown exponentially. I'm very excited. It is a huge help when people are Patreon members, because that ensures that there's a little bit of money coming in every single month. And this month's reward was Around the Common Fire. Around the Common Fire is a collection of a dozen NPCs that can be found around the Common Fire in Stennard and can be hired to join the party. There's a lot of fun little characters. This was inspired, honestly, by Jeff Malam, who had been using some of my pre-generated PCs as NPCs in his campaign, and he sent me a campaign report, and I was like, that's awesome. So I put some of those in here with some fresh new faces, good stuff. Next month's reward, the May reward, as I mentioned in the last video, is going to be the Icon Bearer. The Icon Bearer will be a mini booklet like this, like the Canine, that breaks down how the Icon Bearer operates in Dungeon Crawl Classics. Essentially, it's a class guide. The Icon Bearer is a little bit more involved than the Canine or the Outlier, so I expect that it'll probably be a 12-page booklet as opposed to an 8-page booklet. So expect a big one in May, and that's going to coincide with starting to wrap up the Protectorate of Genulane, because the idea of the Icon Bearer, which is essentially my version of the Paladin, alongside the Protector of Genulane, it's a great combo. And so that's going to be coming up soon. As you can see, I now have Precipice of Corruption t-shirts, which are available in the Breaker Press web store. And one of the things that I don't think I mentioned, but in the last month, Exalted Funeral started carrying most of the Breaker Press content, just not the Patreon rewards. And so stuff can be found there at Exalted Funeral. Just to wrap things up, the DCC Basics series continues. I just did one on the Halfling Good Luck Charm, one on Regaining Luck, which got a lot of views, because that's one of the deeper cuts into the Dungeon Crawl Classics rulebook, because it's on like page like 360 and 361 or something like that. But something that people ask about all the time, because since you're burning luck, you want to get it back. So yeah, you can check out those videos. I will link them over here, so that if you haven't been following the DCC Basics series, you can. But yeah, that is the overview of what's going on with Breaker Press games. Oh, I totally forgot to mention, so the next thing coming up is Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise, which is kind of a sequel to Desperation of the Hungry. I've been collecting followers for the last couple of weeks. So if you do want to follow that project on Kickstarter and be ready for when it launches, I'm going to launch it once the Desperation of the Hungry PDFs go out to everyone. So hopefully mid next week we will launch that Kickstarter. It'll be another quick 2-week one, and it will be another short zine around 20-24 pages is my guess. And that will be something that will come out later in the summer. Other things that should be noted is that there have been people asking questions about compilations of various bits of content. Expect a Rabid Dogs Volume 2 and Standard Courier Volume 2 later this year. But first we got to get these big projects out. So once again, thank you for supporting indie games and indie game designers. Follow us on Patreon, follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks again, and have a good weekend.